Holy moly, +4 boots that give 2 pips of willpower. So doubly so, we will not need to worry about willpower this game. We do get some gloves. I was worried about artifact gloves earlier. So this will give us flight, resist corrosion. I mean, both those are kind of nice to have. We miss out on just 3 decks. So let's see how that actually affects damage overall here. 36 with this pair of gloves on. If we swap over, around 34, that's not too bad. It's a fairly incremental change. And I do like having flight without needing to switch over to our ring. And then even though these boots put us into pretty low intelligence territory, I'm going to put them on. That's a huge amount of armor class to get. Holy moly. So I'm glad that we ended up pushing through here. Got some very solid bits and bobs from our time in the area. I should also potentially think a bit harder about this leather armor. Defenses just are better. Oh, I kind of forgot that we're still in Steam Dragon scales, so that actually makes perfect sense. Go back up to max fire resistance. We have max willpower now as well. Ooh, And with that, should be in an alright spot. I don't think I need anything else from down here. So let's get back into regular lair shenanigans and see how she goes, shall we? Just not a single enemy in sight. Imagine if this was just the rest of the entire game. We hit some weird god seed that has a more dynamic approach to enemy spawns, I guess is the fancy way of stating it. There we go though. That kind of tab spam, now that I can get behind. Okay, I do have concerns about elephants though. With the... I was gonna say with the mushroom in the way, we're actually safe from being pushed. Probably should have recognized how the elephant was gonna step to us there, but hey, still not the end of the world. Got the job done. Such nice resistance at this stage in the run. Pretty wild stuff for sure. Hopefully, we're not punished on the other side of things. That's always the concern. So that you'll get extremely lucky early on, get all the willpower one could possibly need for any kind of run, and then just never see even an iota of, like, you know, cold resistance the entire time. Okay, I cannot be one shot from you. Very unlikely to be one shot by you. Maybe shouldn't push my luck with those very unlucky level of logic, but hey, got the job done, never doubt in my mind. So that is fantastic. Please all line up. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Well, a bit more fighting. I think probably could train a bit of armor, maybe some more shields, but we don't really have a good kite shield yet. So let's just train a bit of armor. We have an okay aptitude there. Fighting, just always nice. And then let's double check for Invo. We can't quite cast Divine Vigor consistently, so maybe Invo actually should come back on. Let's bring it up to 12 instead of the 10 we'd originally set. Oh, another requirement. Hell yeah, brother. Okay, fancy pair of gloves with cold resistance. Interesting. Triple crossbow. I mean, I don't make the rules. You see a triple crossbow, I'm pretty sure you have to grab the triple crossbow on your Formicid. Nice thing there is it actually gives us some place to dump, like, enchant weapon scrolls as well. So we could even rebrand it and hope for something wild. I mean, freezing, it's not bad. It's up there. I guess it sucks against, like, undead enemies, any kind of constructs. Yeah, maybe not the best. But regardless, the triple crossbow is the best, at least in our hearts. So let's grab that son of a gun, shall we? Trying to think of like what a more optimal approach would even be. Okay, line these sons of guns up oh so nicely. You won't smash down that door, will you? Well, let's head down here for a bit of an R&R recuperation session. Fantastic. Oop-de-doo. And hopefully when we find that elephant son of a gun again, we'll be in a slightly better position. I mean, the piercing is going to have a field day with the bees here. Holy moly. And we do have poison resistance as well, so we don't have to be too worried, even if they do catch up to us. Man, doesn't get much better than that. I can't imagine we'll get a much more satisfying encounter at any point. Though fingers crossed, as long as we're still using this arbalist, there's always the chance for absolute god spread of enemies. For lack of a better phrasing. But these sons of guns definitely fall into the category of lining up oh so nicely for our attacking pleasure. Okay, took me way too long for my brain to step through exactly how we wanted to handle this, but that's about right. The shark is scary. Well, they're mited. They're about to go full berserk status as well. Pretty good odds that we hit the son of a gun. But not a whole lot of recourse after we managed to do so. Small odds of charming the rest of these folks if that becomes necessary. I should really drop. We have teleportation and blinking scrolls on us. Those are just clogging up the way. Okay, do you want this is gonna be divine vigor. Oh, the shark lost their upgrades. And there we go. With that, I think we should be good to deal with the rest of these sons of guns. Good use of divine vigor. We can actually spam most of our abilities. They're so cheap on the piety side. A little bit less so on that ultimate ability, but likely won't be using it too much more until we get a bit later in the game. So let's make our own little kill corridor. That's something I should be doing a bit more often. I thought about it against the wolf encounter earlier, but penetration brand even stronger when you're on something like a Formicid and you can make your own kill tunnels. Hard to argue with that. But okie dokie, hopefully with all of this sorted out, we're back on track here to not have to think too much. Ring of Dexterity. I mean, I'll keep carrying it around for now. I don't really want to take off poison resistance, even though, again, if you're somebody who likes min-maxing and doesn't mind constantly needing to go into the menus and like make small iterative changes, then that's definitely a pretty solid option, you know, by which all of that is being a long-winded way of saying, jeez, can't talk today. All of that being a long-winded way of saying that we could not use poison resistance until we can see that it's necessary to do so. But hey, I'd rather just set it and forget it, not have to worry or think too hard about what kind of enemies we're coming across, and it can just be smooth sailing from here. Potions of haste. Okay, haste, blinking, teleport. Let's just get rid of you now before you ruin any hopes and dreams I have as I see them out of the corner of my eye, forget what kind of character I'm playing, and think that I've found the answer to my prayers. But okie dokie. Not too shabby at all here. Let's take a sip from our drink. We'll have to decide. Probably is worth dipping into layer 5. Again, pretty solid character overall here. Defenses could be looking a little better, but that aside, our damage output just wild. Of course, the flip side of that, just head out back to regular dungeon probably. Main issue with final floors is the inability to shaft ourselves, so we don't have our last ditch emergency escape chute. Of course, hopefully we won't even get into the territory of that being a necessary evil. Hello, Snorg. Is your skin better than regular skin? Yes, yes it is. In fact, lose a fire resistance, but gain regen. I think that is going to be a wear for me. Can kind of maximize our healing capacity, as it were. You know what, let's pop in here. Even though enemies won't set themselves up nicely for pierce damage, still probably in our best interest to ensure one-on-one activities. Hello, Molten Gargoyle. Fortunately for you, we've gone through this song and dance before, and I hate to say it, but things do not end well for you by any means whatsoever. For us, on the other hand, not too shabby here, hitting all of the skill caps a little bit faster than expected. I guess might be worth it to train a bit of dodging. We'll have high dex. Don't like fighting a -1 aptitude early game, but things are looking pretty good. And then, ranged weapons, do I just start training for triple crossbow now? Maybe? Yes, let's finish this floor before we get too up in our own head about where to go from here. Okay, Dream Sheep, I was about to say, could be a problem if they put us to sleep at an inopportune moment. Otherwise, not looking too bad there. It's nice being able to shoot through bushes. I think that's the much more subtle advantage to the piercing brand that we have going for us here. But okay, let's drop ourselves in a corner. I don't like it for the Hydra. I do have concerns. How many heads do you have? 6? Our damage output should actually be enough. Perfect. I was worried that I was going to be made to eat my words there and look like an absolute chump, but never doubted my mind, of course. We knew this would be how things shook out. Never doubt. And not too bad. Lair, pretty dang smooth. Definitely a wonderful start for the character overall. I love that we keep running into fire-themed areas. This is like my main jam. This is what I do for a living, is have crazy fire resistance. So that is fantastic. And that should be just about the end of all things here, right? No chance of being petrified thanks to our resounding willpower. Oh my gosh, we can hang out in lava while dealing with Hydra pals as well. Not too bad. Hey K-Man, how's it going? Holy moly. Well, I'm tempted just to fight this son of a gun. Again, we have the fire resistance for it. I'm worried that I'm getting that little thing we call hubris starting to rear its ugly head, but couldn't possibly be, right? No, we're just actually that good, of course. Let's do it. Should be able to kill you fairly quickly. We could have done it over dry land just in case you dropped your skin, but I'm not too unhappy with that one way or another. And layers cleared. We're max piety. Things are going suspiciously smooth. But let's just hope that we continue to trick the game and our gamer karmic balance into just handing us freebies here, shall we? I don't mind whatsoever. Hey Zo as well. How's it going? How's it going? Okie dokie. Well, back out to regular dungeon is probably the best bet. We could head back to Orc and do a little bit of a victory lap there, but I'm feeling like dungeon should be our speed. Shouldn't be too much of worry coming, especially in the first couple of floors that we go through here. Do you count as a light enough hat? Forget how big my antennas are. I know the sprite shows them as probably big enough that any hat wear is off limits, but still like to double check. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a chance for happiness for us yet. Let's just keep IDing things, making our way through. Ooh, Fanar. I mean, I have some cold resistance, but you're definitely not my ideal target here. Just get away from your PC and now chilling. Nice, nice. And victory lap? No, this is still regularly scheduled programming, still going for polytheist, which is why we're with Ellie on a Mark's Ant here. Though I shouldn't say such disparaging remarks about it, because Ellie has been pretty instrumental in our continued survival here. I think I can kill you, Fanar. Especially if you decide just to do nothing. Throw nothing at me. Hit me with no ice attacks. Very cool of you. I appreciate it, buddy. Well, I'm not going to complain about that. Oh my gosh, and who needed the brain shut down? Who needed that fire dragon earlier to drop their scales? Apparently. There's more right there. And speak of the devil, what the heck? Fire dragon scales as far as the eye can see. More scales than one will need in their entire mortal existence here, but that is fine by me. Definitely seems to be following the theme of the run here, which is by and large. Come on, Hydra, one more shot. Oof. I actually don't love teleporting you either. I'm gonna heal myself first and foremost. What are my odds of hitting you? 87%. I mean, I could just fear scroll. Ranged Ant, not common. Oh, really? I find that surprising. It's definitely one of my favorites. Again, I'm just a sucker for a lot of Formicid builds. I think Ranger always calls out to me because being the only species that is actually able to, wield shields along with the firepower of ranged weaponry is a pretty ridiculous combo. But, I guess before I talk a big game about our lovely ant buddy here, let's try to ensure we get out of this one piece. I mean, a fear scroll does a pretty good job at things, and then we can just swap over. It's probably not worth it to shoot both of them. Should kind of keep this limited. There we go. Just shoot the one that doesn't have a ranged attack. Was pretty sure we can kill the Hydra before they got any silly ideas in their mind. There we go. Okay. Nice to know we can bleed. Technically is possible. See the Fear Scroll odds by quivering, then firing the Fear Scroll. Not firing it, but yeah, quivering it and then hitting F key to try it out. Part of the rub there is that when you go to quiver, selecting what to quiver, it does not show up in this list, and you will need to access inventory here with one of those two keys, and that just opens you up. Also, word of warning, many a time, I've forgotten that I've quivered a fear scroll, and then you're just hitting the P key to like rapid fire your quiver, and suddenly 3 fear scrolls are just gone before you even realize that you're being an idiot, or at least that's how it oftentimes happens for me. Maybe others are more intelligent and observant and it's not as much of a risk, but I am constantly in need of strategies that account for my own ineptitude. Also, I'm trying to remember what was in that. There was a vault earlier that I had some interest in exploring. Maybe it was D8. Let's check out that first, shall we? Aha, it was here. And there's some boots. Not artifact boots. And I'm actually probably never switching out of these. I don't know if this is worth bothering with at all, but let's check it out. Yeah, rampaging boots. Still happy to take a peek and see what we may or may not be missing in our lives, but just about the outcome we expected from that one. But back out to regular dungeon. Let's try not to get ourselves into too hot of water now. No promises. Ants were your favorite, but now it's dwarves. You're a sucker for heavy armor mage or heavy knight with warping capabilities. I think that there's some pretty solid possibility of me following along similar lines. It was scratching an itch, especially like the last Mount Dwarf character we were playing was so much fun and was getting some pretty solid spells online while also being in plate armor the whole time. And there's something about that. The hybrid style has always been my go-to. I mean, maybe it's because of how much Dragon Age Origins I played as a teenager, because that game has the Arcane Warrior, and I loved that class specialization so much. And so pretty much any game I play, one of the first things I try out is like, how viable is a spell sword approach? Because I do find those extremely enjoyable. But okay, let's clear out some inventory. Some of this stuff we won't even pick back up on our way out. Scroll of Noise. I mean, technically could leave even more, but I mean, if we're in the situation where we have more than 7 good items that I desperately believe I need, it's probably a good problem to have, and I can throw out all sorts of random baloney here. So let's do it. Okie dokie. What kind of treasures abound? A helmet that we can't wear. Ooh. What do I owe the pleasure? Now this, though, nope, also had I can't wear. Chainmail, armor I likely can't use. Oh, I don't like Hellion. Okay, looks like this final section. Apocalypse crab, or sorry, ghost crab. Not ideal for me. Actually, they have lower evasion than my brain was expecting from that, so maybe that is just fine by us. Oak Lobe plant, a decent contender. In fact, we don't have corrosion resistance. Never mind, we do have corrosion resistance. Well, that makes my life a hell of a lot easier. We do have to fight the elephants regardless, it's looking like. At least we are a Formicid and can't be slowed. Otherwise, that snail would be a real pain. I do kind of want them to stay here. I guess this side is bad because of the net trap. But specifically, just being able to use the hallways would be nice. So with that in mind, are we ready to hop into this? So we'll get to check out these boots that we'll likely not wish to wear. And then, unfortunately, all 3 of these aren't great options for us. Another artifact pair of boots. Okay, this Minotaur has a thing for helmets and boots, apparently. I do want to see what the gloves are. I'm not desperately in love with our current glove set, but unfortunately it does shoehorn us into this side of the equation. At best, we fight the elephants. A dire elephant is slightly scary. Okay, but let's go to the dispersal traps. Hell yeah, brother. You fools. I was hoping that they would step into it a few times. Could just get very unlucky and end up completely surrounded by elephants, but never a doubt, of course. Boots of flying we don't really need. That's fine. Of course, in D&D, you really like the Order of Scribes wizard. Try plant-based right now, and the spells are written on leaves of your pot you carry around with. I like that. Oh, it's carried around on a floating disc. That's very cute. Of course, in D&D, you really like the Order of Scribes wizard. Oh, I see. You just fixed up the message there. Nice. I don't know if I've ever really fooled around with Order of Scribe wizards. I mean, D&D is so much fun because you have the mechanical level of, you know, being able to experiment and fool around with what is my brain trying to come up with the kind of on paper aspects of the various options in the game. But what I fell in love with doing in D&D is the little flavor tweaks. I think I was originally introduced to the idea of by like watching like Dimension 20 or something like that. And just taking base mechanics, keep those the same, but let's really just add the flavor on top, make this character a lot of fun, and make it mine. I'm not always the most like roleplay heavy person, but that side of it I enjoy thoroughly. Getting a bit silly, and more so, I guess, less on the role-playing side and more in the just like creative endeavor. You know, trying to come up with interesting ways to put a twist on different features is something that speaks to my mind for sure. That's the kind of creativity that I very, very much enjoy. Okay, kill our spectral crab here real quick. Unfortunately, neither of the rings are big game changers. But that's fine, that's fine. See what the Minotaur has, I guess. Nothing to do but get to it. Bunch of damage right off the bat. Let's see how our heal does. Okay, our heal, not too bad. Wow, you can really smack with that Staff of Air, my friend, so you can definitely output a lot of damage in one fell swoop. When we're not lucky, I probably should have Divine Vigored earlier, but then we can throw that, combo it with the heal, and that takes care of our new friend here. Okie dokie, what have you got for us? Phantom Mirror, beautiful. Otherwise, nothing too exciting. I guess before I lay on any real judgments, we'll take a peek. Chainmail of Willpower. Could be something to that, but I don't think we need it. On a character that has had maxed out willpower since like D8 or something stupid like that. So yeah, I guess that's that.